Well, Google has had a busy year, but not without some controversy. That was apparent as Google held its annual shareholders meeting this afternoon. Now, Mark New joins us now live from just down the road from where Google's headquarters are in Silicon Valley with the very latest. Mark.
Michelle, Google seemingly enters new areas of our lives every month, but as its reach continues to grow, so too does its list of critics. Several hundred of them gathered outside Google's headquarters known as the GooglePlex to make sure their voices were heard loud and clear. On the ground and even in the sky, protesters hammered Google by accusing it of not living up to its motto, "Don't be evil." The groups delivered a petition signed by more than 10,000 people calling on Google to provide an annually updating lobbying report disclosing how much the company spends on lobbying and how it decides its political spending.
Google is among the worst companies in the tech industry in terms of political spending transparency, while also spending the most. I do think it's a bit hypocritical that Google knows so much about people around the world and yet is so reluctant to reveal its own political spending activities, which really impact people around the country and around the world.
The protesters flat out want Google to cut ties with two organizations in particular, the American Legislative Exchange Council and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Protesters accuse those organizations of being counterproductive to good jobs and addressing climate change. Other groups accuse Google of poor working conditions for security staff and then cutting their shifts if they complain. And then there is the increasingly volatile subject of gentrification. High-paid tech workers have driven up rent prices, especially in the city of San Francisco. This teacher says a high-level Google lawyer bought her building 2 years ago and is now evicting all the tenants, including her.
He came in and just took over and wants us to leave like we don't exist. And he's affecting me, my son, my husband, and I work a half a mile away at my school, and I've been working for the San Francisco Unified School District for 14 years. And now, because of this one greedy person, I might have to leave the city because I can't afford to stay there.
Toronto's sentiment has become increasingly common, especially as San Francisco struggles to increase the amount of available housing, not only for low-income residents, but even middle-income residents too. And one final note regarding the political spending topic. In 2004, Google was ranked 213th in federal lobbying spending. In 2012, it rose to number 2, only behind General Electric. Google now has more than 100 lobbyists split equally along partisan lines. Michelle.
All right, Mark, so it's pretty obvious that the tech workers themselves are driving up prices in Silicon Valley and in San Francisco. But what about the actual companies? Are they continuing with their buying sprees?
Well, Google's buying spree shows no signs of slowing down. In fact, just days ago it was reported that Google is buying a 400,000 square foot office park very close to where I'm sitting right now in Mountain View. This is Google's largest Silicon Valley real estate acquisition this year, and it's believed the price could be a whopping $250 million. That would come out to $625 per square foot, setting a record price for the region. According to Real Capital Analytics, in the past 24 months, Google has paid $331 million for 11 properties in the region. That makes Google the #1 buyer in the region. Michelle.